This June the 20th MLB edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Birddogs Shorts. Dominate summer with an amazing pair of shorts and get a free Yeti style tumbler when you order over at birddogs.com/pool. That's birddogs.com/pool. Welcome everybody to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, June the 19th, and we are here for a full slate of MLB action for Tuesday, June the 20th. It is a three-man concern this evening. Joining us is from Houston, Texas, Mr. Munaf Manji. Munaf, what's happening?
Not much going on. Good to be here with you guys. The week started off on the right foot, I should say. I had the first five over in the Cardinals and the Nationals game. That's around 5-2 right now on top of the fort. So hopefully we can carry that momentum into this week, a new week of betting. But glad to be here with you boys. Can't wait to dig into the card.
That's a nice no sweat, easy cash. Munaf, Washington scored 5, I think, by the top of the second, I think, in that one. So yeah, good start for you. And our third host this evening from, if I remember correctly, Greensboro, North Carolina. Is it Delonte Smith? Yeah, hey, well done, Delonte. How are you?
Yeah, man, doing good. Fortunately, I had Stanford. They get up 4-0 in the College World Series and immediately fold in one inning. So yeah, I'm watching my money go down the drain. But a bit of advice to everybody who likes, if you like college baseball or you indulge in that, you can easily make a profit by betting one team when they're down as a dog 2 or 3 runs. They automatically come back and make it a game. So you can get plus money. You can get plus money on both sides either way. I've been doing it all College World Series and it's been profitable. So if you think you're down,
good to know.
Yeah, man. If you get into it, you can get plus money on both sides and come out a winner for sure. But other than that, man, ready to get into the card with you guys. I hope you guys have a good weekend also.
Yeah, the IPL, the Indian Premier League, and the cricket is exactly like that. You can back one team at 4-1 as outsiders, and 7 minutes later you can back the other team at 4-1 as outsiders. It's an absolute roller coaster. Like it's the best in play, like live betting sport. 2020 cricket. It's absolutely insane. It can send you insane as well. But yeah, it's loads of fun. YouTube chat, Case and Hightower first in. Good evening. TVDBJ's kicking around as well. Randy's here. Good evening, gents. If you're listening to this back on a usual podcast platform, try and join us on YouTube and come and say hello. It's all the fun. Right, I've got some news and notes here I need to tell you about. Firstly, and I'm going to do this before Captain Insano gets in the chat, so he can't give me too much stick. He did beat me in the Fantasy League last week after I spent the early part of the week blowing my own trumpet. Captain Insano beat me 5-4 with one push. We needed one more home run last night off the Yankees. Would have split the game. But yeah, so he beat me 5-4. So congratulations, Captain. A popular winner. I think we'll all agree. What else do I need to tell you about? Can I tell you quickly about my weekend? So I did 2 jobs this weekend, one on Friday and one on Sunday, at the most opposite ends of the spectrum you could possibly imagine. They were both poker competitions. Friday night was for a stag do, what you'd call a bachelor party. And all the boys, 20 boys, came up from London. They hired a castle up here on the northeast coast. I was setting all my stuff up as I saw them all get off the bus in various states of drunkenness. The stag just had his underpants and a big red velvet crown on, which I was quite impressed with. But then I saw some girls getting off the bus, and I said to one of the lads, like, what are the girls here? Have you brought some of your sisters to go shopping or what have you? And they brought their own strippers. Yeah, exactly.
That's my kind of party right there. That's my kind of party.
Yeah, exactly. So they brought their own strippers. So half an hour later, I was dealing poker with naked women serving drinks and also naked women with silver trays full of cocaine.
What the hell?
So yeah, so it was a wild old time, let me tell you. Sorry?
Was Zion Williamson there?
I know who that is. He's a basket. You see, you're learning this, Lonte. This is the reference thing where you and Munaf can talk about. He's a basketball man, isn't he?
Yeah.
There you go. You see,
he likes strippers, though. He likes strippers.
Okay. Yeah. Well, these boys. But apparently, they'd had to pick the strippers up on the motorway, so they're free halfway on the journey. And unfortunately, the strippers weren't the best. So all the lads on the bus were really excited. The driver was going 3 miles till we picked the strippers up, 2 miles, 1 mile, and all the lads were excited. And then when they saw the strippers on the side of the road, apparently everyone started booing and jeering. So that must have been a nice confidence boost for the girls. They had to climb on that bus with 20 blokes going boo. A bit disappointing. No. So yeah, that was one end of the spectrum. Yesterday, then I was at Oxford University down south, which is the equivalent of Yale, Harvard, and it was a blockchain conference, which is exciting as it sounds. I mean, nerds doesn't even come close to these kids at the blockchain conference. So I sat with some of the brightest minds I will ever likely to speak to. I just said to you boys before, they were the sort of people that my kids will work for in 20 years' time. So yeah, Friday night was silver trays piled high with cocaine. Yesterday was the nerdiest kids you've ever met. So yeah, sometimes I question the decisions I made in my life that gets me into these situations.
Yeah, whatever gets you paid.
But yeah, fun and games. And now I'm sitting here with you two lovely boys.
I gotta come visit you. Y'all have fun.
Oh yeah, Lance, we'll have a weekend, man. We will have a weekend. Yeah.
They probably look at me like I'm an alien if I go over there.
Well, you said that they rented out one of these castles. So your house is up for rent.
Very good, Munaf. We haven't had any. We haven't had any castle banter for a little while off you. You know, I live in a very demure little semi-detached house in the suburbs, Munaf. Very well. Right. Okay, then. Right. What time? Oh, actually, did anyone see the Sioux City manager last night get ejected and then take the base away with him? If you haven't seen that, that is well worth a look. It's a classic of the genre, isn't it? He got ejected, but then picked the base up and he walked miles with it. Then he gave it to a kid in the crowd. So this little kid, who was about 5 years old, was just sitting with the base was the same size as the kid. He was sitting. And if he got the fan to autograph the base, the manager as well. So if you don't get a chance, that was really funny as well. I do enjoy those. They're one of my favourites of that kind of ejection. Steve Montgomery, we salute you, the Sioux City manager. So yeah, I think that's covered all the silliness. And we can do some actual handicapping. And I'll tell you what's been hot this weekend down south. Birddog shorts are the thing you need for this hot weather. Global warming, etc. Birddogs make you look good. They make you feel good. The stretch khaki shorts will make you look a little bit slimmer through the thigh. Give you a little bit of a sculpted look as well. This is them strippers could have done with a couple of pairs of Birddog shorts on Friday night. So you'd have to sacrifice any movement. You've got the anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day. So if you go to birddogs.com/pool, enter the promo code POOL for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/pool for a free Yeti style tumbler. And you won't want to take your bird dogs off. We can promise you that. Okay, we start Tuesday's card at 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time. It is the Kansas City Royals at the Detroit Tigers. We have Daniel Lynch, left-handed pitcher, goes for Kansas City, and Michael Lorenzen for Detroit. Plus 130 on the Royals, minus 150 on the Tigers. 8.5 is the total. Munaf can lead us up.
Yeah, Kansas City Royals, like you mentioned, are going to start Daniel Lynch here. So far on the season, 0-3, 5.79 ERA overall on the road, 0-1 with a 4.50 ERA. Night ERA hasn't been very good for him either, 6.92. Michael Lorenzen gets a start for the Detroit Tigers, who is 2-4 with a 4.23 ERA. At home, he has struggled. He has a 4.71 ERA. Does have a 2-2 record. The WHIP is higher at home for Michael Lorenzen with a 1.24 compared to his road at 0.91. Daniel Lynch over his last 3 games, 0-3. The Royals have lost each of those last 3 games, at least, or 2 of the 3 games by at least 2 earned runs. And you take a look at Michael Lorenzen, he's been struggling a little bit here as well, at least over the last 3 games. I'm trying to pull up those numbers here real quick. Give me a second. So last 5 games, 0-2 with a 5.06 ERA. Michael Lorenzen has already faced the Royals this season, where he did struggle in that start, 5 2/3 innings. He allowed 5 earned runs in that game. 5 hits, 3 of them were the long bomb. He gave up 3 home runs in that game as well to the Kansas City Royals. And like I mentioned, he's also another pitcher that's been struggling over his last 3 games where the Tigers have lost his last 3 starts. So I really couldn't bring myself to back a pitcher here. I think that this might be one of those series where we just see runs being scored by both teams. I know Tigers' offense got going a little bit over the weekend against the Minnesota Twins. Maybe that carried that over against the Kansas City Royals here. So I'm leaning towards the over in this game. I couldn't bring myself to back either one of these pitchers. So over is the bet for me in this game between the Tigers and the Royals.
Yeah, it wasn't much fun trying to come down on a side of this one, Lonte. Did you manage it?
Yeah, I mean, Munaf pretty much hit on everything that I was going to highlight. Both teams struggling as of late in their last 10. KC 1-9, Detroit 3-7. I mean, Kansas City's horrible. Even worse on the road, 9-24 on the road. I think we see a series similar to what we saw back in May, where Detroit won 2 or 3 fairly competitive games. In those 3, 2 of the 3 went over. So to Munaf's point, I kind of see runs, especially with these 2 pitchers coming up. I mean, Munaf rattled off the numbers. I got a few more. I mean, Lorenzen, he got rocked in back-to-back starts, 12 earned runs and 12 earned runs, and 4 of those were home runs in that span. I mean, he was roughed up in KC, like Munaf mentioned. But previously in his home starts, he had been pretty good, 1 earned run combined in those previous starts. But I mean, I just can't back any of these pitchers right now. Lynch on the other side, he got rocked by Cincinnati. Cincinnati's pretty much rocking everybody. 4 home runs in 7 innings, 7 earned runs, and 4 of those were home runs in 7 innings pitched. Small sample size, but just not a fan of what Lynch has been doing this year. So I'm going to lean to the over with Munaf, man. As far as the side-wise, I couldn't get there with either side, man. Maybe you can help me out, man.
Well, yeah, I've taken Detroit, but I'm very unlikely to be betting them. If I listed the 15 bets I would make from this card, this will be somewhere in the teens. Because I think you all know I do like Michael Lorenzen. I think he's got a lot of he's had a lot of good starts this season. Kansas City don't beat anybody. They never win, like ever. So you can't back them. That would be nuts. The kind of the case that I picked out was that the Tigers hit lefties a little bit better. So yeah, that would be the tiebreaker in that. But apart from that, a lean on Detroit. I wouldn't be delving much further into that one. We'll go to another 6:40 Eastern first pitch. Is the Baltimore Orioles at the Tampa Bay Rays. Kyle Bradish for Baltimore. Tyler Glasnow draws the start for Tampa Bay. Plus 150 on the O's. Minus 170 on Tampa Bay with a total of 8 for Lonte.
Yeah, man, I'm usually not a fan of going against either of these teams, man. So it was kind of hard for me to handicap it. Both teams pretty good. They've won 6 of the last 10. Baltimore extremely profitable on the road, 21-14. But Tampa at home is a wagon, 31-7 at home. By far, that's got to be the best in baseball. Am I right about that? That's got to be the best, like, by far. Yeah. So Baltimore did win the series in May, 2-1. All games went under, so it was competitive, low scoring outings. I gotta go with Glassy here, man. He's pitched well against stellar defense. I mean, not defense, it's stellar offenses in 3 of his last 4 starts. Ironically, the bad offense that he played, he struggled with the most, which was Oakland, and that was when they were in the middle of that hot streak. So he had 6+ Ks in every start this year, so he's getting a lot of swing and miss stuff. He's not fully back to what we saw before he had Tommy John surgery. It was Tommy John surgery that he had, right?
Yes, for Glasnow, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm liking the form that Glasnow's in. Bradish on the other hand, 3+ earned runs and 5 straight road starts. I mean, he's not horrible, but Tampa at home, man, I think they get the bats rocking. I'm going to take Tampa here with Glasnow on the mound. I'm thinking we get more of a low-scoring game. I could see maybe like a 4-3, 3-2 type of game here. So give me Tampa at home where they are 31-7.
Munaf.
Yeah, Tyler Glass now, the Rays have won each of his last 3 starts, which came against the Red Sox, the Rangers, and the Oakland A's, 2 of the 3 which were on the road. Now, the problem with Glass now is actual walks. If you take a look over his last 3 games, he's allowed at least 3 walks in each of his 3 starts. He gave up 4 to the Oakland A's, but he was able to get himself out of trouble by giving up those walks. So, or by allowing those walks, I should say. But Kyle Bradish, the Orioles over his last 5 games are 2-3. He does have an 0-2 record. But the one thing that kind of differentiated me by leaning toward the Rays here is that you take a look at his ERA for Kyle Bradish at home, 3.14, but on the road, it is 4.60. So obviously giving him more runs at home is Kyle Bradish. I'm going to go with Tyler Glass now. I like the Rays here at home. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays money line.
Yeah, I agree with you, Munaf. Kyle Bradish, as much as I've had to shelve I've been waiting for Baltimore to regress, and they just haven't been. They've been really good. I drove back home last night. It was like a 5-hour drive. So I listened. The game I chose to listen to was Baltimore at the Cubs, and I bet Baltimore on the money line. And it was a tight game, but they absolutely out-hit the Cubs so repeatedly. They looked really good, all aspects of the game. Bradish just looks very average, unfortunately. This is a big series as well. There's 5 games between these 2 teams. I think it's only a 2-game series. But if one of them can sweep all of a sudden, that gap looks a little bit more meaningful, whether it becomes 7 or 3 the other way. I think you can't trust Glass now. He's settled. He took a little bit a while to settle into his season, and he's taken a little while to settle into each game. Those walks that Munaf has been talking about tend to come early before he settles down. But yeah, I think it's Tampa Bay, and I'm happy to see Tampa Bay on the run line here. I think they'll be prepped for Kyle Bradish, and will get at him relatively early. 6:40 Eastern first pitch is the Atlanta Braves at the Philadelphia Phillies. Spencer Strider pitches for Atlanta, and Ranger Suarez, left-handed pitcher, goes for the Phillies. Minus 145 on the Braves, plus 125 on the Phillies, with a total set at 8.5. Captain Insane, who has turned up. Captain, you've already missed my humble, admission that you beat me last week in the fantasy league. So congratulations. Lane's here as well. How you, Lane? How you doing? Spencer Strider. I've got a big question mark next to his name here. 7-2, 4.12 ERA. A month ago was going along absolutely beautifully, and then all of a sudden it just unravelled a little bit. 6.33 ERA in his last 5 starts. Loads of wild scores in those games as well. That game log 10-7, 13-10, 11-4. The 11-4 was against Philly, actually, on the 28th of May, where Strider pitched 6 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. Suarez has had it going lately, 2.56 ERA in his last 5 starts. Atlanta had a bit of a wild series against Colorado with those Atlanta bats, actually, which gave Insano that win. He had all the Atlanta lineup. That game that saw 20-12, 9-11 runs in that series. They're hitting 301 against lefties as well. Philadelphia have been going along okay. But I do like these trends on Strider. I can't see why they would turn them around. So I think both teams can score. Atlanta have been. And I think I think Philadelphia can get to Strider. So that 8.5 looks a tad low for me. And I'm happy to take the over, Munaf.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that Strider has a 7-2 record, but the ERA is at 4.12. And it's really been more recently where that ERA has kind of skyrocketed for him, because he's allowed 19 earned runs and 27 innings pitched over his last 5 games. Again, a 3-1 record. And on the road so far this year, he is 5-1 with a 3.63 ERA. I think that one thing that kind of did stick out to me for Spencer Strider is that he's had a lot of success against the Phillies over the course of his short career here. Dating back to last season and including the one that you just mentioned, Mal, 5 appearances against the Phillies. He's 5-0 with a 1.65 ERA. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of those starts. The most he did allow was that start this season, where he did allow 2 earned runs and 6 innings pitched to the Philadelphia Phillies. You mentioned that the Braves are swinging a hot bat right now, and I think that's going to continue into this game against Ranger Suarez. I agree about the over in this game. I think you got to continue riding with the Atlanta Braves team total to go over, but also do like Spencer Strider to continue his ways against the Philadelphia Phillies. So Braves for me, minus 140. I like the over, and also would look at the Braves team total to go over in this game as well.
Okay, so Munaf has Strider for a bounce back. Lonte, what have you got?
Yeah, I had a big question mark like you did, man, about Strider. I mean, I thought that he was pitching pretty well. I mean, he just was missing on a few key pitches. Like he would have pitcher counts, and he'd get away from some of the stuff that I was normally seeing him do, which was causing him to, I guess, get out of rhythm and the hitters to gain some confidence. But I mean, he threw a hell of a game. Both of you guys mentioned it in May. Only 2 hits on those 2 earned runs that Munaf mentioned. So that was a huge game for him. 9 Ks in that matchup also. Atlanta's averaging 9.2 runs in the last 5 games. So I mean, nobody's playing better offensively than they are. 22-11 on the road. I mean, I don't know if I can go against Atlanta right now, man. I mean, even though Suarez has been good, 2 earned runs, a few in his last 4 starts. He usually goes deep into games, 6 to 7 innings. So I respect that a lot. But man, the way Atlanta's swinging his bat, man, I'm not sure if Sandy Koufax could shut him down. So I'm gonna ride with Atlanta here, man. Probably go with the over. I see both offenses. Philadelphia has picked it up on the offensive side. I see both of these guys having success offensively. So it's either gonna be a shootout. Well, I guess we can't call it a shootout. It's a basketball. I mean, that's a basketball term. But I guess it'll see a lot of runs, or we'll see a 1-0, 2-1 type of game. So I'm going to go with the over and Atlanta here, man. I think they are just too hot right now to fade. So I'm going to go with Atlanta, better pitcher on the mound, and just a better team overall right now.
6:40 Eastern first pitch. It's a game that's off the board, and I do not know why. Toronto Blue Jays take on the Miami Marlins. Yusei Kikuchi, left-handed pitcher for Toronto, and Uri Perez for Miami. And I've seen those pitchers listed all day and haven't seen any runs, Munaf. Can you shed any light on this situation, or do we just have to crack on?
Yeah, still don't see any lines, but like you mentioned, those are the 2 pitchers here for the Tuesday night schedule. But I just refreshed the page again, man. I still don't see any lines, but you're spot on with the pitchers. It is Kikuchi and Perez going for the Marlins.
I mean, if I was to price this up, I'd have it pretty close. There wouldn't be much between them. Could even be a match on the books. I would happily offer you minus 110 each of 2 if you wanted a bet. So where would your money go?
Yeah, I think that I would probably put the Toronto Blue Jays as a favorite here. But I mean, Kikuchi, he does have a 6-2 record, but the ERAs both are a little inflated, especially at home on the road. 4.87. I'm sorry, for Kikuchi on the road, and Perez so far this season 4-1 with a 1.80 ERA at home, 2-0 with a 1.84 ERA. So he's been really good for the Marlins thus far in his starts that he's made. This is going to be a true test for him going up against his lineup in the Toronto Blue Jays, but I think the Perez is the better pitcher of the 2. I'm gonna trust the Marlins. I hope they come out as an underdog price. I would jump on the Marlins here. The only thing that does make me nervous is that I don't think that the Marlins are a great hitting team against left-handed pitching. Well, let me correct myself. Over the last 2 weeks, they are number 11 against left-handed pitching, and then on the season, they're actually number 4. So, yeah, I'm going to be on the Marlins here. I like what I've seen from Perez, and I'm going to continue fading Kikuchi despite him having a winning record. But again, the ERA is at 4.87 on the road here, Mal.
Yeah, that's it, Munaf. That was all pretty perceptive. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen any lines. I think Kikuchi's been getting away with it, which is what you've just said with the record compared to the ERA. He's been getting away with it a little bit. Perez has been great. He keeps it in the yard, and Miami have been playing really, really well recently. So, yeah, I would take Miami. Lonte, did you have any strong feelings on this without seeing any lines?
Not really. I would, like Munaf said, I think you said you wanted Miami as a dog, right? Especially with Kikuchi. Yeah, if I can get Miami like plus 120, which I'm assuming that's where it would open at with how, good Perez is being at home. I'd like to take Miami as a dog. I mean, they're hot right now. 7 of the last 10, 21-13 at home. They've also covered the run line in 7 of the last 10. So if they're winning a game, they're going to cover the run line. And actually with Kikuchi, he's also given up a home run in 7 straight games, 2+ in 3 of those. So look at some home run props for some Miami guys if you're into that. I would probably look at an under if Miami's going to win a game. The 19 of their 32 home games have went under. Toronto, they lost 6 of 10, but they faced a tougher series against Texas and Baltimore. So no shame in losing to those two teams. But like we always say with Toronto, inconsistencies. I think Miami is the right side in this game, especially with how Perez has been pitching, man. 2 earned runs or less in 6 of his 7 starts. Hasn't pitched against the best offenses, but when he goes out there, he gives you quality stuff. He's only made 3 home starts. If I have that right, that 3 home starts
for Kikuchi?
No, for Perez. It's only he only has 3 home starts. That's what I got.
Give me 1 second.
I got him going 3 earned combined in those 3 home starts. So he's been electric at home. If my numbers are right.
3 starts. Yeah.
Yeah. And so 3 earned runs combined in those 3 starts, man. So he's been electric at home. I think both of you guys hit it on the head with Kikuchi. A little bit overvalued here. I'll take Perez and Miami if I can get them at a dog price, which I'm assuming they will be. Toronto was a favorite in Arizona, so I'm pretty sure Arizona's power rated higher than Miami. So gotta have at least 120, 125 on Miami for me to take them. But I think we'll get there.
Yep.
Yeah, Kaysen's putting up that he sees minus 120 on the Jays, so you're looking at maybe even money or plus 105 on Miami. TBDBJ wants to take Kikuchi on the road. Questionable bets is here. QB1, good evening, sir. How you doing? 7:05 Eastern. The Chicago Cubs at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Marcus Stroman for the Cubbies and Johan Oviedo will go for Pittsburgh, who are plus 115 home puppies. Stroman and the Cubs are minus 135, and the total is set at 8 for Lonte to tell us about.
Yeah, man. The Cubs, they have been hot. They cooled down a little bit, but they struggle on the road. 13 and 21 on the road.
Oh, there he is. Sorry.
Yeah, 13 and 21 on the road for the Cubs. The Pirates are also in a funk. They're 18 and 16 at home. Cubs do perform well as a favorite, 18 and 12 on the season, but they completely dominated Pittsburgh in Wrigley, outscored them 28-11 in that series. I think it's a good bounce back spot for Pittsburgh. It's just, man, it's hard for me to go against Stroman, man. 2 earned runs or less in all of his starts, but 2. He had 4 hits allowed, 2 earned runs in his last meeting against Pittsburgh. Oviedo has been really good of late, 2 earned runs or less in 5 of his 7 starts. And he's pitched against some elite offenses, Texas, Arizona, Baltimore, and he's allowed 5 earned runs combined in those 3 starts. So he got roughed up against the Cubbies in his last outing, 8 hits, 4 earned runs. He did have 8 Ks, so a little bit of success there. I think I like the Buccos here, man, to get the job done as a home pup here. So give me them at that plus money at home.
Agree with you. I've got Pittsburgh down as well. Partly because, God, it's the recency bias of just being a gambler. Me driving home listening to that Cubs game yesterday just turned me off the Cubs for 24 hours. The offense was just a bit anemic, so I thought, right, I'm fading them today. Pittsburgh, we mentioned one day last week, are really streaky. They either win loads in a row or lose loads in a row. And currently they are in a bit of a funk again, as you said. Stroman has been outstanding in 5-0 in his last 5 starts, 151 ERA. Doesn't still get much run support. Just a little note on the Pirates. Henry Davis, catcher, who was a former 1-1 draft pick for Pittsburgh. I think he's been called up today, or we might see him tomorrow, but he's arriving. Was at AA 10 days. He's been at AAA 10 days. He went from AA up to AAA. He's been at AAA a total of 10 days, and we'll now see him in the majors. So that's exciting for Pittsburgh. But yeah, I agree with Lonte. I'll take Pittsburgh here. Plus 115 is the price for that, Munaf.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore what Stroman has been doing, especially over the last 5 games, like you mentioned, Mal. 5-0 with a 1.51 ERA. He's only allowed 6 earned runs and 35 2/3 innings pitched. And he's had a lot of success on the road as well, where he's 3-1 with a 2.72 ERA. I'm gonna lean here with actually Stroman and the Cubbies here. Johan Oviedo had I think a lackluster start against the Cubs in his last game, where he did allow 4 earned runs in just 4 1/3 innings pitching. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs in 3 of his last 5 starts. And again, walks are an issue for Oviedo here as well. And he's not getting the run support either, right? Or his last 2 games, the Pirates combined for 3 runs scored. Prior to that, he faced Oakland, you faced the Giants, and then you faced the Rangers. So I think the Pirates get the job done on Monday night. I think that the Cubs will bounce back with Stroman. So I'm going to lean with the Cubs here, minus 130. I do believe I have the better pitcher on the mound.
Yeah, we started playing the game last Friday of which pitches am I going to see on Saturday in London? And it looks like at the moment it's worked out all right. I think, Munaf. I've got our man Justin Steele taking on Adam Wainwright. I kind of got the best. What I didn't want was Kyle Hendricks against Adam Wainwright. There was talk of Matthew Liberatore, but I think he's going on Sunday. So yeah, friend of the show. He's our biggest listener is Justin Steele. So if he's going for the Cubs on Saturday, as it stands, I'll be quite happy with that. Looking forward to it. Underdog Fantasy is something to look forward to. Best Ball Mania 4 is the thing. Underdog Fantasy giving away $15 million in prizes. Underdog Pick'em is also a great way to get down on your favourite MLB and college baseball player props. Loads of ways to win over on Underdog and active in lots of states too. Head to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. 7:05 Eastern. First pitch is St. Louis Cardinals at the Washington Nationals. 2 left-handed pitchers here. Jordan Montgomery for the Cards and Mackenzie Gore for the Nats. Minus 115 on St. Louis, plus 130 on Washington with a total of 9.5. I think St. Louis have tied that game up at 5-5. If I've read that correctly live.
They took the lead 6-5.
Oh, St. Louis have got in front 6-5, so plenty of runs there. Jordan Montgomery is 3-7 on the year, has a 3.91 ERA. He is improving, 3.33 in his last 5, 3.20 on the road, which is all okay. Mackenzie Gore's been inconsistent. He had a good start last time out. Absolutely no patterns with Mackenzie Gore at all. I couldn't find a pattern for anything. These 2 pitchers had extremely similar profiles. There was 2 games on this slate where a handicap pitchers with nearly identical profiles. So I was looking for things to break the tie. Cards are hit 234 on the road and 247 against left-handed pitching. The Nationals are hitting 264 at home and 283 against left-handed pitching. And that's all you need. That's enough for the Nationals to be 1 run better than the Cardinals here. So I'll take the dog. Washington at plus 130, please, Muna.
Jordan Montgomery has struggled on the road, or he hasn't won games, I should say, on the road. Like you mentioned, he does have a 3.20 ERA on the road, but just 1-4 in those 7 games record-wise. The Cardinals have lost 4 of his last 5 starts where he's allowed at least, or the opposition has scored at least 4 runs in those last 5 games. I'm not sure I can trust Jordan Montgomery in this spot. I'm not sure if I could trust Mackenzie Gore in this spot, but you highlighted the splits there against left-handed pitching, so I think that might just be the difference here in this game. And again, do you want to lay what was the number that you said on the money line for the Cardinals? Minus 155 for a Cardinals team.
Yeah,
that's been absolutely struggling. I don't want to be a part of that. You could take the plus 1.5. That's at minus 120 for the Nationals, but I think that you just got to continue riding the Nationals as a home underdog, especially against the Cardinals. So I'd lean with the Cardinals with the Nationals, and then look at the run line as we're plus 1.5 at minus 120.
Lonty, is it a team ride on the underdog?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to back Mackenzie Gore here, and I'm on that run line also, man. Washington is extremely profitable on the run line. St. Louis is not 12-30 as a favorite. Is St. Louis. Washington is 36-29, if I'm not mistaken, as an underdog on the run line. That is. So, yeah, man. I think that Washington they've been feisty, man. And Gore, like you said, you couldn't have put it better. Inconsistent, like he has 4 hits, no earned against Houston. I mean, he got rocked by Atlanta, but everybody's getting rocked by Atlanta right now. But just some of his, I guess, mechanically, some of the stuff that he's throwing in certain spots just isn't getting it done. But I mean, if he pitches or bottles up what he did against Houston, although they don't have Jordan in that lineup, man, I thought he looked really, really good in that game. I actually lost money against him in that game. Actually, maybe he looked too good. But yeah, man, I like Washington here at home. They've been feisty at home, especially. So I'll take the home dog here.
7:05 Eastern is the Seattle Mariners at the New York Yankees. George Kirby draws the start for Seattle, and Gerrit Cole will go for the Pinstripes at home, who are a -135 favourite. Seattle +115 with a total of 7.5. Good looking game, this one, Munaf. How did you handicap it?
Yeah, George Kirby on the season 6-5 with a 3.24 ERA. He's been good at home, 4-2 with a 3.19 ERA, and been actually consistent as far as giving up runs. The ERA on the road for him 3.29 with a record of 2-3. Gerrit Cole on the season, he's having a Cy Young caliber year, 7-1 with a 2.75 ERA. At home at Yankee Stadium, he is 4-1 with a 2.78 ERA, and he's perfect 3-0 at home. Sorry, on the road with a 2.70 ERA. So 2 pitchers here that have been consistent, wherever they're pitching. Gerrit Cole on the season, or in his career, I should say, against the Mariners. I don't know if it was down to last season only because the lineups do change. Last season, he had one great start against the Seattle Mariners, which was on the road, but at home. I believe it was that first inning. I think I remember this game where he allowed like 5 runs in that 6. Yeah, he gave up 6 runs in that first inning to the Mariners, but after that, he really did settle in. He threw 5 shutout innings after that. So if Gerrit Cole, if he can kind of settle in and not get into trouble in that first inning where he's kind of susceptible to in his entire career, I think that he can go along well here. And again, George Kirby against the Yankees in his career, he had one start earlier this year where he threw an absolute gem, 8 innings of shutout baseball. He had only allowed 3 hits to the Yankees, 7 strikeouts, and this was a home game for George Kirby and Seattle. So I think runs are going to be at a premium here. I do like the under in this game between these 2 pitchers. That number's right now at 7.5. And I'll lean with the Yankees here, -135. I think that's a little discounted price for Gerrit Cole here, but my more favorite play is going to be the under 7.5.
Lonte, Mariners at Yankees.
Yeah, man. Listen, I love when Gerrit Cole starts because it means that the Yankees actually have a chance to win a game. Now, whether they go out and play well offensively is the issue. The Mariners, I think. I mean, I haven't been able to get a pulse on them as of late. They're 5-5 in their last 10. New York is coming off a series where they got dominated against Boston. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Seattle doesn't perform well on the road, 14-18. I'm sorry. Yankees are 21-17 at home. Should be a little bit better, but they are electric as a favorite. 28-19 as a favorite. New York won the series in May 2-1, outscored Seattle 20-7 in those 3 games. I mean, Gerrit Cole, if you like the Yankees, man, try to find a Gerrit Cole K prop like of, I guess, 10, 11 plus, because Seattle, I think there are bottom 3 or top 3. It depends on how you want to look at it or phrase it. They strike out the 3rd most in the MLB. So Gerrit Cole's got a lot of swing and miss stuff. He's really, really finding a groove, man. And he got roughed up at the end of May, but he settled in his 3 starts in June, 4 combined runs in 3 starts. He's only given up more than 2 earned runs twice, both to good offenses in Baltimore and San Diego. I don't think Seattle has a good offense or a good enough offense to be able to put some damage on him. I am worried, though, about Kirby because he was really, really good against New York. I think, Munaf, you mentioned it on the 31st of May. 3 hits, no earned runs, and 7 Ks in that matchup. So I do think the under is intact here, man. Kirby's also 2 earned runs or fewer and 3 of his last 6 road starts. So give me that first 5 under. I'll take some Gerrit K props, probably ladder them up to double digits to see if I can get a nice plus price on that. But yeah, I'll get half unit on the under full game, half unit on the first 5 under. Also,
yeah, we love a ladder, Delonte. We love it. Yeah, Kirby's been inconsistent. I think you've both pointed to that key piece of form that I used handicapping this game, which is the 1-0 game on the 31st of May. That's the comparison game that we're going to use here. I like Kirby. I love Cole at home. Still missing Aaron Judge, which is lightening their lineup, and I can't work out the Mariners at all. So I'm staying away from his side, but I'll follow Munaf's lead, and I had the under 7.5 written down as my pick. 7:10 Eastern first pitch is the Colorado Rockies at the Cincinnati Reds. Left-handed pitcher Kyle Freeland for the Rockies, and Ben Lively will go for Cincinnati. Plus 145 on Colorado, minus 165 on Cincinnati, with a total of 10, which is high. Lonte, Freeland at Lively.
Yeah, man, I think it's high for a reason, to be honest. I mean, both pitchers have been allowing a lot of contact. I think Lively has allowed back-to-back. He had back-to-back starts with 10 hits allowed. So both of these guys allowing contact. The Reds are on fire right now, so it's pretty simple handicap for me. They've won 8 in a row. Colorado is a bid against team. I think me and Munaf mentioned it yesterday. You don't make money fading the teams that are hot right now. Atlanta outscored Colorado 40-12 in the series, so it's nothing to like about them right now. I like Cincinnati and the over. Both pitchers, like I was mentioning, allow a lot of contact. And I think the Reds can get to 5 or 6 runs. I do think Colorado has the ability to get, 4, maybe 3 or 4. Also off of Lively, especially with the contact that he's allowing, man. So give me the Reds and the over. Colorado's offense without those 2 bats in the lineup does scare me a little bit. But again, with how Lively's been pitching and the contact that he's been getting up, he got fortunate in his last start. 10 hits, only 2 earned runs. So I think that kind of regresses and fixes itself. And Colorado at least gets a couple of runs. So give me the over to 10 and Cincinnati on the run line.
Exactly my 2 picks, Lonte. Road Freeland has a big cross next to his name, and anything Cincinnati Reds has a big tick next to it. Cations accused us of being a Reds pod now. We've moved on from being a Yankees pod to being a Reds pod. 8 straight wins. They're getting Joey Votto back as well this week, Cincinnati. Yeah. I bet Cincinnati Reds to win the World Series this morning at 200-1. I had a little go. Munaf, stop shaking your head at me. Yeah. I'll bring you across for that.
I got him to win.
I'll bring you across for that weekend with the strippers, Lonte, when that one cashes. You can come, Munaf, as well. You can.
Let's go.
You can stand outside and hold our coats while me and Lonte are having fun inside. So yeah, that was pretty much straightforward. Cincinnati in the over, any combination of that you want, Munaf.
Yeah, I think the difference here is just going to be that the Rockies aren't able to put up any runs. I know they got out to, I think it was like 5-0 or 6-0 lead against the Braves yesterday, but the Braves stormed back and won that game 14-6. But prior to that, 2 runs, 1 run, 3 runs, 3 runs. They got 7 against the Red Sox and then 4, 5. So I know we talked about that. They don't have Charlie Blackmon and Chris Bryant in the lineup right now. And this Reds offense is hot right now. Like you mentioned, Mal, that they do get Joey Votto back. So another bat, at least in the lineup for them to get even better as far as scoring runs. So it's pretty simple. The Rockies have struggled in road starts when Kyle Freeland is on the mound, 1-6 in those 7 starts. Opposing teams are 5-2 on the -1.5 run line when Kyle Freeland starts. So if you think Ben Lively can go along just fine here, there may be some value on that -1.5 for the Cincinnati Reds at a +115 price. But look at Reds team totals, overs, and then the run line for the Reds -1.5 +115 as my picks for this game.
7:10 Eastern first pitch. The Oakland Athletics at the Cleveland Guardians. Lewis Medina for the A's and Aaron Savale for Cleveland. +185 Oakland, -225 Cleveland. Total of 8.5. Oakland are up to a season high 29th in the power rankings, having overtaken Kansas City on the back of their hot streak last week. Lewis Medina, unfortunately for them, is barely a double-A pitcher, I think. 1-6, 755. That's bad enough, but it's 806 in his last 5 and 935 on the road. Just gets worse. Savale has been okay, but he does make me nervous as well. So 8.5 is too low. There's loads of different ways we can get to this number. So pretty straightforward. I'll take the over 8.5, Munaf.
Yeah, after I think what they won 7 games in a row. Now they've quietly lost 5 games in a row. Have the Oakland A's. They got swept by the Phillies, and then they lost 2, or they split the series against with the Rays. But now you have Luis Medina on the road, on the road, yes, and he's starting here. I can't trust his pitcher. I mean, you just take a look at the numbers: 1-3 on the road so far this season, a 9.35 ERA. He's allowed 18 earned runs and 17 1/3 innings pitched. I think the bats, I know we've talked a lot about the Cleveland bats have not, they don't have the greatest hitters, but they were able to get to Zach Davies in this last start on Sunday, actually. And I think this is a similar situation where they're able to get to Luis Medina here. So I would look at the Guardians -1.5. I would look at them to score runs here as well. I know you talked about you don't trust Aaron Savali, but he hasn't been too bad on the season. I know he has struggled at home where he has a 4.76 ERA, but I want to say that all came into one start. Or a lot of those came in one start, which was against the Mariners back on April 7th. So he's returned from injury. I know the Cleveland Guardians have lost 2 of his last 3 starts since he's come back from injury, but they just haven't been able to get run support. But now you're going up against a pitcher that you can score a run against. So I think the Guardians should be fine in this game. I would take the look at the Guardians run line in this game at -1.5. That number I see is -115. So that's the way I would look at this game.
Okay, fair enough. Lonte, you have anything on this?
Man, honestly, I don't, but I don't trust Cleveland's offense enough to get separation. If Oakland can get a win, I think it's against a team whose their bats aren't the best. I mean, at home, they're a little bit better. And they did play 2 tough series on the road, Arizona and San Diego. So, getting a team like Oakland, it could, give them the confidence to go in and play well. But I just don't want to lay it. I think it's too big of a number, obviously, on the money line. And I don't think they have enough offense to get separation, even from Oakland, who, I mean, all you need is a 4-1 game in the 9th or the 8th, and then Oakland bats in 2 guys, and then it's over. So I'll probably likely pass. I do like the under on the game. It's hard taking the under with Medina. Munaf mentioned the numbers: 4+ earned runs in 3 of those 4 starts, or 3 of his last 4 starts, and Savali 2 earned runs or less in 4 of his last 5 starts. So I'll go with the under, probably a first 5 under, to be honest with you. And likely, I mean, I guess I'll take Oakland on the run line. What is that price of Oakland on the run line? You have it updated?
Oakland on the run line is +1.5, -105.
Oh, never mind. No, I need plus money. Anytime I bet Oakland, got to have plus money on the run line. Yeah, so I'll take the under.
Love it. 7:40 Eastern first picks. The Boston Red Sox at the Minnesota Twins. Cutter Crawford for the Red Sox and Bailey over for the Twins. +125 Boston, -145 Minnesota. Total is 8.5. Munaf.
Yeah, Cutter Crawford on the season 1-3 with a 4.20 ERA. The last 3 games he's actually started for the Red Sox. The Red Sox have lost all 3 of those games. And they haven't really been able to provide run support in that game. There's a game against the Rays 4-2, against the Guardians 5-2, and then the 7-6 game against the Colorado Rockies. On the other side, Bailey Ober at home so far this year has been really good for the Minnesota Twins. Despite having a 2-2 record, he has a 2.97 ERA in those games. Last 5 games, he's 1-3 with a 3.62 ERA. I have a hard time handicapping this Twins team because they've already cost me a lot of money this season. But I'm not sure if I do trust Cutter Crawford here in this spot. He's allowed 6 earned runs over the last 2 starts in 7 innings pitched alone. So I'll lean with the Twins here. I think Bailey Ober at home is obviously a better pitcher compared to his road numbers. So I'll take the Twins here, -145. I don't love it, but I would lean with the Twins here.
Okay, an ugly, uncomfortable twin selection for Munaf. Lonte, what did you have?
Yeah, I got an uncomfortable Boston selection. I thought that Munaf actually talked me off of Boston today in yesterday's podcast. I thought it's a horrible spot for coming off of Sunday Night Baseball, and especially the way they dominated the Yankees last week. Minnesota is better at home, 21-17. They did win 3 of 5 in Boston this year. They're also 27-17 as a favorite, so they do know how to get separation when they are the favorite. But I think Boston's offense can put it to Ober. I guess I don't even know how to say his name. Ober, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Ober's
Sure.
Yeah, so I think he I mean, he is better at home, 2 earned runs or less in 2 of the last 3 games. But if you look at some of his numbers against decent offenses, I mean, he kind of doesn't have it when he faces those teams. So I think Boston is obviously has a pretty good offense. It's just defensively where they struggle, like complete contrast of styles. If we can get a little something from Crawford and just for him to be mediocre, I think Boston can walk out of here with the win. So I'll take the Bo Sox not on the run line. I'll take the Bo Sox at the plus price as a road underdog.
I completely agree with you, Lonte. Boston were my pick. They coming off their first double-header sweep over the Yankees in 17 years yesterday, winning both legs of that game. But Bailey Ober's just not been as sharp lately as he was when he first arrived this season. Cutter Crawford will probably get maximum 3 innings out of him, a little bit of a question mark. But at the prices, I think you have to risk Boston. That plus money price, plus 125. 8:10 Eastern first pitch. We'll go top left to the New York Mets against the Houston Astros. Justin Verlander for the Mets and left-handed pitcher Framber Valdez for Houston. Plus 115 on New York, minus 135 on Houston with a total of 7.5. Verlander 2-3 on the year, 4.40 ERA. His home road splits for me were key here. He's given up 11 earned in his last 2 road starts, obviously back in Houston on this occasion. Framber Valdez has been outstanding, 1.32 ERA in his last 5, including 3 home starts in that stretch where he's pitched 23 innings and given up 1 earned run. You're going to get minimum 7 innings out of him, so an out prop might be kicking around. If you can see an over 20 or maybe 19, I think you can trust Valdez with that. Both teams struggling. They're both 3-7 in the last 10. Houston just got swept by Cincinnati. Houston home record is over 500. Mets road record is really poor, 16-23. I think the presence of Verlander's name on the card here gives us some value in Houston, who should be shorter than this. So I'll take the Astros at minus 135. Munaf, how do you feel about your hometown team here?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you mentioned, right? It's the home road splits right now for Justin Verlander at Citi Field so far this year, 1-2 with a 3.24 ERA, and then on the road, 1-1 with a 5.85 ERA. Framber Valdez, like you mentioned, has just been so good for the Astros thus far this season, and they've needed him because of all the injuries that they've been dealing with in the pitching rotation. I know the record doesn't reflect it where he's 6-5, but he does have that 2.27 ERA. And again, 4 of those 5 losses have actually come at home. But again, he has a 2.02 ERA and 9 starts this far this season for the Houston Astros. I think that he can go along well here against the Mets. I'm trying to find some the splits here for the Mets against left-handed pitching. Let me see here. So they are number 6 in WRC plus over the last 2 weeks. And then on the season, they dipped down all the way to, where are the Mets? Number 14. So I know they're missing, I know Pete Alonso's missing in this lineup for the Mets, but I think there's a good spot here for the Astros. I know Justin Verlander is making his return back to Houston after, winning the championship with them and being with them for the several seasons, but I just don't trust the Verlander numbers right now, especially on the road. So I think there's some value here on the Astros. I'll take the Astros money line here, minus 130 with Valdez on the mound.
Lonte, is it 3 out of 3 for Houston?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to take Houston. I think you both hit it on the head, man. Verlander on the mound automatically gives us value on the opposite team, and Houston being an inferior team in my mind. And I think Alonso's back, Munaf. He was 0 for 4 last night, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure if he's going to play. I'm not sure if he's going to play or if they're kind of stringing him along. But I think I did see him play last night. He's just getting back in the swing of things, so I'm not sure how much of a factor he'll be in the lineup right away. But I mean, New York won 2 of 3 of the last matchups this year. They held Houston's offense to 2 runs combined in the first 2 games. So. I mean, I think both teams are struggling offensively, especially the Mets. The Mets have been struggling all year, but we kind of know why Houston's struggling without their big bat. in the middle of that lineup with Jordan. Valdez nails at home, 2 earned runs or fewer in 4 of his last 5 home starts. And Verlander, I mean, is he either gets rocked or he pitches a gem. He hasn't been as consistent this year. These are his splits in his last 5 his last 5 games. So he gives up 6 earned runs, he comes back with 1. 6 earned runs, comes back with 1. 4 earned runs, come back with 1. So I guess he's gonna get rocked in Houston tonight. So I like Houston. I like Houston a lot, man. I like the under a ton. Both good pitchers on the mound. They usually go deep into the game. I would put a first 5 under. I'll put a big bet on the first 5 under actually, and the full game under also. I could see a 2-1 type of game here with these pitchers on the mound, especially with the offense is struggling as they have been for the past 10 days. 10 games. I'm sorry, not 10 days.
Okay, we've got 4 games left here, boys. We're at 56 minutes. We might have to go through the gears a little bit. 8:10 Eastern first pitch, the Texas Rangers at the Chicago White Sox. Nathan Eovaldi for Texas and Dylan Cease draws the start for the White Sox. Plus 105 at home. Chicago, Texas and Eovaldi are minus 125. And the total is 8.5 back to Lonte.
Yeah, man, I'll make it kind of quick on this one, man. I don't trust the White Sox at all. We saw what not Dylan Cease. We saw what Lance Lynn did. Was it last night? Where he struck out like 14?
16,
and they lost. Like, I mean, what more can a pitcher do? 16 strikeouts, man, and they don't even come. They got beat. What was it, 4-1? Yeah. So like, I don't trust them at all. I mean, Eovaldi, 7 earned runs in his last 2 starts versus the Angels and Tampa Bay. But, those are 2 of the better offenses with the Halos being hot right now. He's 1 earned run or less in 4 of his last 5 road starts. No earned runs in 5 of his last 9 starts. I like Eovaldi a lot here. No shade to Cease, but, I mean, he hasn't faced a good offense but once in his last 9 starts. He's played Cleveland. We just went over their offense. Detroit, Kansas City, Minnesota. I mean, Miami is like middle of the pack, I guess. You can debate it either way. But those are his offenses in the last 10 games. He faced the Dodgers and pitched really well against the Dodgers. But I think me and Munaf had our issues with the Dodgers that we discussed on Friday. So I don't think they're in as rare form as they usually are. So give me Texas here, man. They face a tougher schedule with Toronto and the Halos, 20-14 on the road. I mean, Chicago is just 500 at home. I just don't trust the White Sox, even with Cease on the mound, and that should tell you a lot. With a stud like Cease on the mound, I have no effort to back in the White Sox right now. So give me Texas on the run line also.
Munaf?
Yeah, Nathan Eovaldi has been really good on the road. I mean, you take a look at the record, 6-1 with a 1.98 ERA, if I'm not mistaken, and he's just been really consistent for this pitching rotation for the Texas Rangers. But I agree with Lonte here. I mean, I'm not sure if I can trust Dylan Cease on the mound. I don't know if it's the pitch clock that's affecting him or whatever the case might be, but his strikeout numbers are significantly down thus far this year, and also he's given up a lot of walks as well. So again, if the Rangers are able to stay patient at the plate, work the count, get on base, and just smash like they have been all season, I think that's going to be an advantage for them, and I think that Nathan Eovaldi can continue his road success here. So Rangers right now, I see a minus 125 road favorite here. I'm going to take that price with the Rangers on the money line.
I actually went the other way here. I took Dylan Cease. The Rangers had a great win last night, came back from 6-0 down against the Blue Jays. But Eovaldi's given up 7 earned in his last 2 starts. We had a cheeky little Discord win on Dylan Cease last week. Strikeout props against the Dodgers worked out really nicely. And the White Sox are just much more reliable at home. I think Cease's last 2 home starts have managed to win 2-1. So, yeah, I just fancied being a little bit contrarian here. Hope for a bigger price than plus 105, but I think Cease can go well back to back up that start against the Dodgers. And I'll take Chicago at plus 105. 8:10 Eastern first pitch. The Arizona Diamondbacks at the Milwaukee Brewers. Ryan Nelson for Arizona and Colin Rea, got his name right this week, for the Brewers. Tight on the books, plus 100 even money for Arizona, minus 120 for the Brewers with a total of 9. And Nelson is 3-4 on the year. This was the game where the 2 pitchers had very similar profiles, like Gordon Montgomery earlier on. The 2 records are 3-4, 5.30 ERA, 3-4, 4.71 ERA. 3 of Nelson's last 4 have been poor. He has multiple walks in all of his last 4 starts. So if you can find a prop surrounding that, that could be a way to go. He had his only good start recently was against Detroit in that period when Detroit really couldn't hit anything at all. Colin Reyes' numbers and game look very, very similar to those I've just gone through for Nelson. I can only see runs in this situation. So I'm happy to take the over 9, Lonte.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on that. But how much of that is just you trusting Arizona's offense versus?
That's the other thing, yeah, because whoever you trot out, Arizona can get you 5 or 6.
Right.
You rely on that because we don't often feel confident with the Brewers. So as a baseline, you expect Arizona to give you 4, 5, 6, and then we'll see where we can go with the rest.
Yeah, right. So that was kind of my thinking also, that Arizona's going to do the bulk of that scoring. So I like the over here too. Milwaukee, I mean, at home they are better, but they're still just mediocre in pretty much every statistical category offensively. I have a hard time, handicapping Milwaukee games just because they're just so anemic offensively. I don't know what it is about them, especially with when they go to the back end of their rotation. They're just not very good right now. So yeah, man, I like the over. I didn't have enough confidence to bet either side. So I'll stick out on the side. If I had to lean one way, I'd lean with Arizona, but I think the over is the best play on the board for this game.
TVDBJ telling us that the Snakes are the number 1 team in WRC plus against righties so far this month. Munaf, is that enough to convince you to take them here?
Wait, you said that was Diamondbacks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that the struggles for Nelson have really come at home, right? 2-3 with a 7.09 ERA and his 6 starts on the road, 1-1 with a 3.09 ERA. So his ERA is 4 runs less on the road than it is at home. But I know he has to face the greatest offenses on the road. And again, this is another team that if they're not able to get runs against Nelson, you have some bigger problems. I don't trust Colin Rea either. I would lean towards the Arizona Diamondbacks here as well. Look for them to put up some runs. You get up all 9 at bats again. Colin Reyes just has not been very good thus far this season. 2-2 at home with a 4.40 ERA. I think the Arizona Diamondbacks at this juncture of the season are the better team. I'm going to go the Diamondbacks here at even money, and I also agree with you guys about the over as well. But I do like the Diamondbacks team total over as a better bet as far as the total goes.
The penultimate game on the show tonight is off the board. The San Diego Padres at the San Francisco Giants. The Padres have no pitcher declared. Haven't seen one all day. Haven't seen a rumor of who it might be at all. Tony Disco will go for the San Francisco Giants. But that's about all I've got on that one. Munaf, did you have much else on this? Did you see a Padres pitcher?
Nothing yet, man. I think we could probably just zoom past it.
Delonte, anything?
Yeah, I don't see anything, but whoever they decide to, I'm going over with how both these offenses have been playing. They just have been high scoring affairs. San Diego's won 3 or 4 this year. All 40 games went over. So I think it's going to be an offensive slugfest, whoever the pitchers are.
Yeah, I didn't have much, but other than the Giants have gone above the Dodgers in the standings last night. And also, Anthony Desclafani has completely and utterly fallen off a cliff recently. So
me and Munaf was talking shit about San Francisco, betting them to not make the playoffs, and look where they are now, just right above the Dodgers.
You've lit a fire under them. Last game on the card is the LA Dodgers at the LA Angels, which is a 10:07 first pitch. Left-handed pitchers, both sides. Clayton Kershaw will take on Reed Detmers. -150 on the Dodgers, +130 on the Angels, total of 8.5. Lonte, close us out with this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Halos, man. Halos are hot right now, 20-14 at home, won 7 of their last 10. Dodgers are 2 games under 500 on the road, 17-19, 4-6 at the last 10. I do think Clayton Kershaw has been actually one of their better options when he's on the mound. He's been pretty good this year, going 6+ innings in 10 of his 13 starts. I mean, for a guy with that much mileage on his arms, I think that's incredible. And I don't think the Dodgers even thought they would get that much out of him at the beginning of the year if you asked them. But he's given up 4+ earned runs in 2 of his last 3 road starts, so that's a positive in the Halos' direction, especially how they're swinging the bats. I mean, you got Ohtani and Trout going back to back. Ohtani's in unreal form right now. on both sides, the bat and with his arm. The only thing is, man, I'm not a big Reed Detmers guy. I mean, I'd rather put one of us on the mound, Sean, Ryan, anybody on the mound in the matchup besides Detmers, man. I mean, 4.48 ERA and a 1.5 record in 12 starts. It tells you all you need to know. But I'm going to bank on the offense of the Angels here. I'm going to back Shohei and Mike Trout to come out and get some quality hits against Kershaw. So give me the home dog here, man. I'll take the Halos at plus. You said 130, right?
Yeah.
I'll take the Halos at plus 130.
Yeah, you've pretty much word for word covered my notes. The figure, the important number was the two games under 500 on the road. The Angels have been holding it together relatively well for them lately, 7-3 in the last 10. Detmers is okay. I'm not sure, Munaf, if the Dodgers are any good. Like, they just start to look a little bit on the average side. Yeah, I'll take the Angels at plus 130, Munaf.
Yeah, Dodgers are they're a streaky team, man. They'll put together like 4, 5, 6 wins in a row, and they'll cool off a little bit. I mean, they got swept by the Giants this past weekend, where they allowed 29 runs in that game. They only scored 8 themselves. I'm not sure if I can trust Reed Detmers. I do want to back the Angels here, but I think they'll be able to get some runs off of Clayton Kershaw. Both these teams, especially the Angels, are pretty good against left-handed pitching. And I know we talked about the struggles right now with Kershaw out on the road thus far this season. So I lean with the Angels here, but I think we do see runs in this game. I do like the over 9, so that'll be my bet for this game between the Battle of LA.
Okay. I think, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is 15 games handicapped and in the books. I'm going to do something I don't normally do here. I'm going to lead us off with the lock and dog. Mainly because Munaf won't have picked his yet, and I don't know if Lonty has got his lined up, but I have. My lock is going to be Houston to beat the Mets. And the Mets are just a right old mess. And I think Verlander is only plus 115 because it's got the word Verlander written next to it. It's nothing to do with his form or his stats. I know the chat was talking him up a little bit earlier on, but I just think this is a price on Valdez that you shouldn't really be seeing. So Houston for me. And for my dog is Washington. Mackenzie Gore will go well, I think, against St. Louis. I'm still not having St. Louis. I know they'll battle their way back in tonight, but they're just all over the shop. And the home batting average and the batting average versus left-handed pitchers was very much the tiebreaker for me in that one. Washington replies to plus 130. They'll be my dog. We'll come to you, Lonte, while Munaf works his picks out.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go for my lock. I'm going with the Yankees on the money line. I just think that Garrett Cole is gonna have a big part in this game, man. Seattle, a lot of swing and miss stuff. Like I said, they're top 3 in strikeouts as a team. I think he'll have a lot of stuff dialed up for him, man. Yankees underperformed at home. Underperformed against Boston. I think they come home and get it done, man. I don't think Seattle is a good team at all. And like I said, every time Garrett Cole's on the mound, he has to win because you never know what you're going to get after him. So I like the Yankees a lot here. Also would play some Garrett Cole K props, laddering them up to, 11, 12 plus, because I think he has a chance to do something special against Seattle tomorrow night. As for the dog, I'm going to go with the Halos, the game we just talked about. I don't trust Detmers at all, but I do trust that offense. I think Munaf hinted at it also about him liking it offensively, at least for the Halos. I think the Dodgers are in a bit of a funk right now. Halos are hot. I'm going to keep it simple, man. 20-14 at home, 7 of the last 10 against solid competition too, not against bottom feeders at all. So give me Shohei and Trout. 1 plus 130 on the Halos.
Yeah, I love that. You can't when you put it like that. Shohei and Trout, they went back to back again last night. It's a great price. Munaf, did you get a pick for us?
Yeah, for my lock, I'm gonna go in the Yankees game as well, but I'm gonna take the under 7.5. I know we've talked about the Yankees offense being a little bit anemic without Aaron Judge in the lineup. And we talked about George Kirby had a stellar start against the Yankees earlier this season. So I think this might just turn into a pitcher's duel where Probably it's like a 4-2, 3-2 type of final here between these two pitchers. So I'm going to go with the under 7.5 as my lock with the Mariners and the Yankees. And then for my dog, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays on the run line, -1.5, +120. Glass now at home. I think it's more of a fate of Kyle Bradish. He just hasn't had very good success against his Tampa Bay Rays team. We talked about how the Rays are the best team at home thus far this season by a mile. And last season, Kyle Bradish in 2 starts against the Tampa Bay Rays, 0-1 with a 10.24 ERA. He allowed 5 earned runs at minimum in both of those 2 starts. He allowed 11 earned runs in just 9 2/3 innings pitched against the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Rays won both of those games 6-1 and then 7-6. So I think that with Tyler Glasnow on the mound here with a couple more starts under his belt, I think that they can go along well here. I'm going to fade the Orioles and Kyle Bradish -1.5, +120 as my dog for the Tuesday schedule.
Okay, love it. Well done, everyone. I was just going to say we spent ages handicapping those games, but it's very possible it was the 10 minutes at the top of the show where I talked bollocks and told you all about my weekend. Yeah, so that might possibly be on me. If you want to tell the show, if Sean and Ryan complain, you can send them my way for that one. Thank you to all the team who are in the chat. We do appreciate it. It's always loads of fun. Yeah, and that's it. Back the rest of the week. My countdown to London is very much on. So yeah, pardon me if I get a wee bit too excited this week. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. Good luck with all your bets tonight. I'm going to go and back Corbin Carroll total bases because the chat just told me to. We'll be back tomorrow, some variation of the team. But until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.